afternoon and welcome to Fast Horses Today. Today is Saturday. It's the last day of the month. It's August 31st and it's also Pacific Classic Day over at Del Mar. Now they start a little earlier today at Del Mar because they've got an 11 race card. So they start at 3:30 here in the Central Time Zone, so 1:30 over there Pacific. And they got a nice card of races, all throughout. But I'm going to skip the first few races, and I'm going to focus in on the late pick 5, which does start in the 7th race. Now, the 7th race has approximate post time about 6:37 here Central, so 4:37 Pacific. And the 7th race is a mile and a 16th on the grass. This is Calbred first level allowance for boys, 3-year-olds and up. And I've got a horse that I really like here, and I'm going to make him my single. So I'm going to single here the 9 horse, who is Pure Madness. Pure Madness comes out of a nice family of horses, out of the mare Pure, and she's dropped a couple nice horses in Tom's Regret and Donner Lake, who I like both of those horses. And, this horse has shown some nice run in 2 starts of his own. So first time out, this horse, they brought the horse out 6.5 on the flat grass course over at Santa Anita, Tyler Bays Road. Horse was 17-1 that day. And this horse really ran lights out, man. I mean, this horse really exploded in the stretch, running very greenly, I might add, and just exploded in the stretch. So that just showed me a whole lot of talent. Then they ended up putting this horse over in the Real Good Deal at Del Mar, 7 furlong dirt race, and ran up against a couple really highly regarded Calbreds and Shady Tiger and Curlin's Chaos, among a couple others. It was a 12-horse field. This horse had the 1 hole. And if you watch the replay, it looks like Espinoza rode the horse that day. And it looks like he was doing a whole lot of adjusting and getting a position into this race, running sideways, and, ended up still running very well, even though he kind of had a rough trip, I thought, running second to Curlin's Chaos in a very fast time, 121 and change, and a fast speed figure. And this horse just ran a really, really big race, I thought. And I think this horse really points this horse into a really nice race here at a mile and a 16th. I don't feel like there's a lot of talent in this race. A couple nice horses. I'm going against the 5 horse, who's a program favorite. That's Don't Fight the Fed. I'm sure the horse will get a lot of action, and I can see why. But this horse to me looks like he finds himself, ways to get beat. So we're going to try and beat him again here. We're going to try and beat him with Pure Madness. That's a single of the 9 and also a win bet on the 9. All right, now let's move over to the 8th race of the day. 8th race is a mile on the dirt. It's a first level allowance race, and they got a nice field signed on. I got 3 horses here I'm going to put in to try to get this pick 5 moved along. I've got the 6 who is Ultra Power for Bob Baffert. Now this horse's breeding is off the charts, out of the mare Unique Bella and by Curlin. So, certainly the breeding's there. Distance shouldn't be a problem. Now, we haven't seen this horse in a while. Last time we saw this horse was back in November of last year, ran during Breeders' Cup weekend in the Qatar mile on the grass. So, didn't think this horse really wanted grass, but they're bringing the horse back on dirt. Hernandez takes the call. Horse shows nice works. As we've seen, Baffert's horses have been superior this meet, so no reason to not put that horse in at 3-1. I'm also going to put the 9 horse in. The 9 horse is Fast Draw Munnings for Jeff Mullins. Now, this horse also comes off of a vacation. We haven't seen this horse in almost a year, but this horse runs some good races at Del Mar back in his career. So 8-1, Raylu Gutierrez. If we see some upset here, I think Fast Draw Munnings, could get it done here off that layoff. And then finally, I'm going to put in the horse, the 10 horse Scatify for John Sadler, and Hector Berrios takes the call. Now this horse looks like he just has a bunch of raw talent, but that raw talent has probably gotten this horse into some trouble as well. Now Berrios has ridden this horse before, and it seemed like he's had a tough time riding this horse, even though he did get him for his win. In his maiden special weight. But this horse has kept some nice company. He ran in the Lewis, the grade 3 Lewis, also ran in the San Felipe, ran up against Nisos, ran up against Parenting and the Affirm. So his horse has kept some good company. And I don't know, I just think that the dirt's probably what this horse wants to do. 5-1. Berrios, has figured this horse out before. He's going to have to figure this horse out now from the 10 hole. He should be all right. So I got the 6, 9, and 10. All right, now let's move over to the next race. Next race is the Green Flash. And the Green Flash is the big sprint race for the turf runners there at Del Mar for the meets. It's a grade 3, 5 furlongs on the grass. Nice field, big field signed on here. A ton of speed signed on in this race, which you'd expect for a grade 3 turf sprint. Because I've got a couple singles here. I'm going to go wide in this race because as we've seen in these 5 furlong grass races, out of the gate could really determine how this race is run. So I'm going to put 6 horses in because I just see, maybe some chaos here. So I'm going to put the 2 as Mo Gold for Jeff Bondy and Mike Smith. Now, this is a lightly raced horse who has a ton of speed. I think this horse can get out on top from the 2 hole. If there's a lot of bumping around behind this horse, it could really give a horse like this an advantage. So I'm just going to put this horse in as a long shot. That's the 2, Mo Gold. I'm going to put the 7 horse, who is Unconquerable King, for Phil D'Amato. D'Amato's got 3 of them in here, and I'm going to put all 3. The 7, that's Unconquerable King. Hector Berrios takes the call. We've seen Berrios put some nice rides on horses. This horse likes Del Mar, has a nice record here as an accomplished horse, certainly at these grass sprints. 8-1. So why not put that horse in? I'm going to put the shipper here, None Hudson, for Wesley Ward. Juan Hernandez gets the call here. Now, this horse has not run at Del Mar, but this horse is running some nice races back east and, at Saratoga and some of the other tracks. And I just think, we'll see if the shipper here, is better than the cow based racers. So Wesley Ward, he certainly knows what he's doing on grass sprints. Brings this horse over. Maybe he's, testing the waters to see if this might be a Breeders' Cup turf sprint type horse. So 6-1, Juan Hernandez. Let's put this horse in. I'm going to also put the 10 horse, who is Motorius, for Phil D'Amato. We've seen this horse before. If this horse is right, it could be lights out for this field. He's 7-2 in the program. Horse loves Del Mar, 2 for 2. Horse loves grass sprinting. It's just a matter of him getting a good trip. He does sometimes get himself into trouble, so we'll see what happens today. I'm going to put the 11, who is Johnny Padres, for Librado Barocchio. And Ricardo Gonzalez takes the call. Now, this horse has run some nice races as well. He's really sharp this year. He comes running late. He's done nice work on the Santa Anita Hill. He's done nice work on the flat grass. And, he's also ran well at Del Mar in the 5 furlong grass. This horse is just in great shape. Just a matter of if he gets a good trip, if it falls apart in front of him, he could be running late. Then I'm also going to put the 12 horse, who is Turn on the Jets, for Phil D'Amato. Like his other runners, horse has shown a great record at Del Mar, has done very well with sprinting, and 5-1 with Kazushi Kimura. That's the 12 horse. So again, I've got the 2, 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12. All right, now let's move over to the next race, and this is the one that everyone's been waiting for. This is the 10th race. This is the Pacific Classic, 1.25 miles on the dirt. This is a grade 1. There's a big scratch of Adair Manor, that she was going to be the program favorite, or she was the program favorite for Baffert. She is out today. So that leaves probably Dr. Venkman, who is the 3 horse, as the program favorite for Mark Glatt, Antonio Fresu. And that's going to be my single here. They didn't really get a whole lot of shippers to come into this race for $1 million. And, not a very strong field, I don't feel. But Dr. Venkman is a nice horse. He started out his career last year at Del Mar sprinting and some of the faster sprint races that they had last year. So he showed his quality there. And he took him over to Keeneland. He got beat on the wire there. So something went amiss because we hadn't seen him. He had a pretty long break. And they brought him back to the races in the Triple Bend at Santa Anita. Horse, that's a grade 2. Horse ran a very nice race. Second to Happy Jack, was a nice sprinter for Doug O'Neill. Then they put this horse in at 2 turns, gave him a 2-turn test in the San Diego at Del Mar, and I thought he passed with flying colors. So this horse ran really nicely. I thought he ran up against a bias, which was speed, and he was chasing Arabian Night that day and just collared him and took over in the stretch. Looked like Venkman might have been getting a little tired, which, could be expected for a horse coming off one race off a layoff and a 2-turn test. But then he jumped some tracks or something in the stretch. It looked like it caused him to change leads, and the horse just took off again. Ran really nicely. So Mark Glatt knows his horse. He's putting this horse in at 1.25 miles because he knows he can make the distance. The breeding's certainly there. Fresu on him, 5-2. Certainly worth my single. So I'm going to just do that. All right, now let's go to the last race of the day, which is also a graded race. Very nice race. Mile on the Grasses, the Del Mar Mile, a grade 2. Nice big field here as well. Very competitive field. I'm going to put 6 horses in here as well because I'm looking to have a live pick 5 ticket and have 6 in coverage. It'll be a wonderful place to be. So I'm going to start out with the 1 horse, who is Astronomer. And Astronomer is a nice horse, and he certainly has run his trainer, who is Simon Callahan, who I'm not a big fan of, but Astronomer certainly has done well. He's run well at Del Mar. He had two of his biggest wins at Del Mar at big prices, so at the mile distance. So this horse certainly likes the distance. I think can work out a great trip from the one hole. Kazushi Kimura takes the call. Now Kimura rode him last time in the Wicker, and he ran second to First Piece, which we'll get to. First Piece is also in this race. I thought he just ran a really nice race out of the 11 hole there. So Astronomer, nice horse, 20 to 1. Going to put him in here. I'm also going to put the 3 horse, who is De Jour, for Bob Baffert. This is the program favorite. Now, I'm not really expecting a big run out of this horse, but I'm going to put this horse in because I don't need to get kicked out of a pick 5 in the last leg. So I'll just put him in, but don't have a whole lot to say here about Du Jour. I'm going to put the 4 horse, Almendares, for Phil D'Amato. This horse, this is his 3rd start off a layoff. He's run well in his 2 starts this year. Ran down the hill in the Grade 3 Daytona at Santa Anita, and then he ran it also in the Wicker. I thought he ran a nice race there. He ran with some of these others. And, the Del Mar turf course early in the meet, as we know, was a bit strange. It was very hard to close. It's almost like you got to forgive, some efforts early on in the Del Mar turf course. But I thought his horse ran a nice race. He got beat by a few of these, but could turn the tables here at 10 to 1. I'm also going to put the 5 horse was Lamas. Lamas for Manny Badia. And Cedillo takes the call. Now, Badia trains primarily up north for an outfit, Ron Charles. And Charles used to have a lot of horses in Southern California. Used to be a big outfit out in Southern California. They moved their barn up north and been running up north. But this horse, reason I think this horse could fit here, he ran a nice race in the San Francisco Mile back in the springtime at Golden Gate. That's a Grade 3. He ended up winning that race. He beat Air Force Red and he beat Belnikov. And those are 2 stakes winners on the Southern California circuit. And he beat them both. So I think this horse can really show up today at 12 to 1. And why not? Let's hope for a price during the last race. And I'm also going to put the 8 horse, who is Conclude for Phil D'Amato. Like several of his horses today, looks live. Horse likes Del Mar. Had a stakes winner over at Del Mar. And, he won the Del Mar Derby last year, which is a nice Grade 2 race. So Hector Berrios takes the call again. He's won with this horse before, 6 to 1, certainly live here. And then I'm also going to put the 9 horse, who was First Piece for Mark Glatt and Mike Smith. Mike Smith has ridden this horse, looks like, throughout his career and done some nice work. This horse ended up winning the Wicker, so he beat several of these in a kind of a strangely run race. There was 3 horses really flying ding-dong and across the track there for a good 5/8, and then some of the closers came in here. So First Piece certainly warrants a look, so I'll put him in there. So that's the 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. All right, now let's recap here. All right, so to recap the ticket here, so we're going to be playing the late pick 5, which starts in the 7th race. I'm singling the 9 horse with Pure Madness for Brian Corner and making a win bet on that one as well. So single the 9 with the 6, 9, 10 with the 2, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, and that was in the Green Flash. And then we go to the Pacific Classic, the singling the 3, who is Dr. Venkman. And then in the final race, going to go with the 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. Now that ticket comes out to be $54. So if that's your speed, feel free to jump in. If you want to add or subtract, you do what fits you. If you want to play the races individually, that works as well. Pick 3s could be lucrative, or even the pick 4 within that. So you do what works out for you for the day. As always, I'm going to wish you the best of luck. Let's get some great trips at Del Mar, because as we know, great trips result in winners at Del Mar. And let's wish the folks over at Del Mar a great, safe day of racing. So as always, I ask you to please do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribing doesn't cost you anything. It just puts you on the feed. When new content comes up, you'll get it served up to you. Like or dislike, maybe make some comments, and, let's create a discussion. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and let's have a great day at Del Mar Pacific Classic Day, where the turf meets the surf.